This is the second part of how to write a research paper. This section is teaching you how to combat plagiarism. Plagiarism means copy pasting from other person's sources without giving them due credit. Plagiarism occurs when you copy directly from someone else's work without citing it. Look at the corner picture. That a black colored and black natured person is holding others' ideas and running away. Plagiarism is considered as a very bad thing. It is the same as you cheat in your exam or stealing ideas of others and you declare that this is my own. If you don't give reference, it means this is your own valuable idea. Effects of plagiarism on your thesis or research paper are very dangerous. You can be terminated from your seat at any age. You earn bad name if you steal ideas of others. Pal Schmidt was president of Hungary and he wrote his dissertation by copy pasting from some other sources. After several years, he became president of Hungary and Turnitin exposed his blunder, and then he was declared as dishonest, and dishonest person cannot become the leader of the country. So protests started throughout the country and he had to resign and he confessed his bad thing. So Turnitin can de-seat you from your seat. HEC allows you 19% similarity index, but more than if it is more than it, you have to uh, paraphrase it. Paraphrase and references are the solution of plagiarism. Never deceive your examiner or your supervisor. Never hire ghostwriters. Never use paraphrase softwares. They are present online, but they create very comic type of paraphrase. Or if somebody else has also paraphrased the same thing from the same software, your work and his or her work will also be the same. Uh, don't use images or snaps to deceive the examiner. Turnitin arrest criminal of intellectual property. Your words, your ideas are your uh, thoughts. They are quite valuable and don't steal others' ideas. HEC gives you 3 attempts to remove plagiarism. If you are unable to do it, your degree will be seized. Some students use Turnitin before teachers' process of Turnitin. You shouldn't do this. APA 6th edition and paraphrase, but nowadays there is APA 7th edition is present, but 6th is also being accepted. But recently APA 7th edition has been introduced. What is paraphrase and how? A paraphrase is when you write the ideas of published authors in your own words without changing the original meaning. There are 2 points. Ideas should remain same. Words must change. From where will you bring words? You will use thesaurus. Thesaurus is a book in which synonyms are given. I have also uploaded it as file number 6. And you will change the structure of the paragraph. Suppose there is a simple sentence, you will take 2 simple sentences and make them combined sentences, or make them compound sentences, sorry, not combined, combined sentences and make them compound sentences, or make them complex sentences. So change the structure of sentences. This is important. change the words with the help of thesaurus, and you can also do this selection process of words from www.thesaurus.com. From this source, you can also select words. Do you want small words, easy words, or do you want bombastic and long words? So this selection is possible on thesaurus.com. So the final point is change words, change structures, but don't change ideas. This is called paraphrasing. It has some steps that you should reread the original passage, take some notes, set the original aside, and start paraphrase. Use quotation marks to identify any unique term or phraseology. Record the source on the spot. Record the source mean write in text citation and reference on the spot. If you say no problem, when my thesis is complete or my research paper is complete, I'll find out. You cannot find out. It is the same that you throw a needle in Islamabad or Rawalpindi somewhere. After 6 months, you go back in the city and find out that needle. To find that needle is easy, but to find the certain reference is very difficult. Researcher's voice is also important. Researcher's voice means you give your opinion, your critique, your words, your ideas. That is called researcher's voice. You compare and contrast. That is also called researcher's voice. I give you some solved examples of paraphrase. Original is her life spanned years of incredible change for women. Paraphrase is she lived through an unbelievable era of liberating reform for women. Original is giraffe like acacia leaves and hay, and they can consume 75 pounds of food a day. Its paraphrase is a giraffe can eat up to 75 pounds of acacia leaves and hay every day. Look at ideas are same, but wording is different. This is called paraphrase. Okay, I'm giving you another example. Black colored is original passage. Then there is plagiarized version. What is plagiarized version? Some students wrongly do this, that they have taken students. Frequently, the student changed it into often. Overuse, use. Direct quotations, the same direct quotations. If you don't change words at large scale, it is called plagiarized version. Suppose some students change one word after 3 words. They use synonyms. This is not the right way. This is the bad way. Your work will be plagiarized. As procedure has been discussed earlier, that take notes, put the original aside and rewrite it. That is called the suitable paraphrase. This is called legitimate paraphrase. In research paper, learners often quote excessively, failing to keep quoted material down to a desirable level. Since the problem usually originates during note-taking, it is essential to minimize the material recorded verbatim. So learn paraphrase as I have given you examples. Why to cite and what to cite? Because we want to make our work valid and reliable. That's why we cite other scholars, other research papers, other books. Secondly, we want to prove our scholarly activity. That's why scholars refer other scholars. In reality, knowledge is built on the previous knowledge. Suppose if everybody starts work from zero, nobody will cross the limit of 10. because every new person comes and starts from zero. No, I will just write the previous story 0 to 10 of older people, and I'll start my journey from 11 to 15. I will leave on 11 to 15 ideas. Another person will just write the previous summary and start from 16 to onwards. In this way, new knowledge is constructed. You will also write a section of literature review. Literature review means relevant literature on the topic. It means what has been written on this topic in the form of research papers or books. So obviously you will read other research papers on the same domain and you will write their summary. You will link that summary with your own work. You will find the gap and fill the gap. Find the gap means you will find the weaknesses of others' research paper and how will your work fill that gap? How will your work fill that deficiency? Gap or deficiency does not mean that that work is full of errors. No, I'm not saying. Suppose that person's sample is suppose 10 persons. That person has collected data from 10 persons, and you say the sample is very limited. The data should have been taken from at least 100 persons. So this is deficiency. One person has taken only males. You can say this is deficiency, that this is the gap or deficiency, that you should take uh, females too, male or female equal, 50 males, 50 females. Or in this way you can say, suppose the person has used a very old data. Suppose a person has taken the Twitter accounts of early 5 years, but you can say data is so old. So if we want to understand present language, data should be taken from 2019 and 2020. In this way you will find some deficiencies, and how will your research fill that deficiency or gap? Prefer primary source. Primary sources mean exact sources. Suppose BBC has presented news about victims of COVID-19 at Heathrow Airport, and their representative was present at Heathrow Airport. That is primary source. Then the same information was taken from BBC and ARY presents it. This is the secondary source. Which source is more reliable? Obviously primary source. Secondary sources are not good, so try to take primary sources. Books, research papers, dictionaries, encyclopedias, not Wikipedia but Britannica, Stanford, and Encyclopedia of Linguistics, Encyclopedia of Literature, they are reliable. Okay, if you take a website, please do not take blogs. You should take those websites which are university websites or EDU websites. Blogs should not be taken because blogs are not reliable. Okay, APA 7th edition has just come in the market recently. APA stands for American Psychological Association, and usually linguistics follow APA. Okay, I have also shared with you APA manual in number 1 file, and this is the manual of APA 6th, and APA brief handouts are 14 and 15. Suppose all those more than 500 pages of manual have been shrunk in 2 or 3 pages. So these handouts are very useful. When you are writing a research paper, you should get their print and put them in front of you and get benefit from from these handouts. Usually the order of references, you should memorize it: AD 3T V3P. AD stands for author and date. 3T means title of book, title of article, title of periodical. V stands for volume. 3P page, place, publisher. So you will memorize in this way: AD 3T V3P. I have also made a story how to memorize it in Urdu language, that, and I'll also share in English too, कि एक शख्स अल्लाह देता था, अल्लाह देता को प्यार से एडी कहा जाता था। वो 3 टी 3 चाय लेता था और वाइस प्रिंसिपल के रूम में जाकर तीनों ही पी लेता था। 3 पी तीनों की तीनों चाय जाकर पी लेता था। In English you can say there was a person whose name was Alladita, but his short word was AD. He used to take 3 teacups, and he used to go to VP, Vice Principal's office, and he used to drink all those 3 cups over there. So the key point is AD, 3TV, 3P. Almost all references follow this order. Though there are some slight variations, yet they are useful to memorize the key structure of APA reference. Okay, references are of two types. One is called in-text citation. As it is self-explanatory, the word in text, that it should be within the text. For example, you can present it in both ways. If it is in the end of the paragraph, like George Yule, comma 1996, comma P, you will mention page number, then full stop. If you start a paragraph like Yule 1996 stated, then you will mention it. You can also give direct quotation and complete in-text citation. Precisely, in-text citation has three things: author's last name, year, and page number. In the same way, reference is the complete reference which is given in the end of the research paper or thesis. After 5th chapter or after conclusion, we give references. Those references must be alphabetized, and they are given in this way: Yule G 1996, The Study of Language, Cambridge, English, Cambridge University Press. Okay. There is another way to get ready-made references quickly. Go to Google Scholar. You have written chatbot, and here there is a sign. Look at the second point. You will just click on it and you will get complete reference. But sometimes, suppose 2% out of 10, those references are faulty, but 98% times those references are absolutely correct. So you can also get ready-made references here. How to generate references and in-text citation fast. There is a website, citefast.com. It's reliable, perfect, quickest, automatic, and I like them. I have used them many times. My seniors and juniors have used them, and they found it very beneficial. Its advantages are it is quick for generating the references, but it is very limited. It gives you APA, MLA, and Chicago, and basic level scholar is in need of these references: APA, MLA, and Chicago. You should try to be expert in only one. Linguists use APA. Literature students use MLA. It has automatic in-text citation in website. In next citation, just read. Automatic alphabetize. It also knows topics on the book. It saves your references in online. Suppose you have made two references in your laptop, and then you are working some other references in your university, and there is a lab computer, and you will just open this SiteFast account, and you will make your references in this website. This, it has a cloud storage for you. Wherever you go, your references will go with you. But you should be wise enough to record your references with you. Copy paste and keep with you always. And you should also keep on the cloud too. So you will have a double security check. One is in your file and one in this website. Mendeley tool is also used for reference generation. This is the best one. It needs some basic training, which I'll provide you later on. This is the permanent solution for scholars because it keeps all your files. It can search your content from PDF files easily. It has ability to change your reference into all types of reference styles which are present in this universe. It has hundreds of reference styles, and you can easily change from one reference style to another. Problem is, when you send your research paper to one journal and that journal says that I take MLA style. If you change it manually, you will waste a lot of time. Just with one click, all your references change into MLA. Suppose that journal has rejected your work and now you send your journal to your paper to another journal. That journal demands in Vancouver style, that is Canadian journal. So instead of learning each reference style separately, just click and all your references will change into Vancouver reference style. So Mendeley is the best one, but beginners should use SiteFast. Advanced level learners should move to Mendeley. It needs complete training and I'll provide you later on. Okay. Those who are in 7th semester, they have to write synopsis. How to write synopsis? Its procedure resembles research paper writing, but synopsis is planning for future, and that's why you will use future tense except literature review. I have provided you some templates and some samples. You will see handouts 4, 6, 7, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. Here are samples. Here are my MPhil, my PhD samples are there, my MDiphil sample is also there. I have provided you template synopsis 4. You will copy paste this synopsis template and start writing that synopsis in it. There is also a template of thesis. You will copy this template and start writing your paper within that template, and your research paper, your thesis will be ready. So these templates are very beneficial for you because they guide you what to write, how to write, and how much you should write, what should be the sequence. So these samples and these templates and these instructions will help you a lot, and they will enable you to write a winning synopsis. Thank you so much. This is the end of the second part of how to write research paper, and then we'll write the third part of how to write research paper.